Welcome back to CryptosRUs. I'm George. We're all George. Yes, I'm finally back. I'm back home streaming, talking about today's topic, which is this massive Bitcoin shakeout that we just had yesterday. What does this mean for Bitcoin? What does it mean for crypto overall? Let's talk about it. And let's talk about what to expect today. Is today going to be a recovery day? Well, let's see. Let's talk about it. Let's look at what's going on today. All right, let's do it. Welcome, guys. I am back. I'm still kind of recovering. I'm still kind of sick. I got sick from my travels, as you guys know. So my voice is not all there yet. But let's talk about Bitcoin and crypto. Yesterday was one of those days, okay? That was very strange. Oh, well, it wasn't strange if you actually know what was happening. But we haven't seen something like that for a long time. And what do I mean by that? Well, obviously, going back about a week or so, right? We had this massive shakeout over here, right? You guys know. We fell back down from our high of 104,000. We went all the way down to 92,000, right? That was to drive out all the longs, all the leverage plays, right? That was obvious. But yesterday, we had something similar, but much more devious and longer term. I mean, look at it. Yesterday, we went from 100 plus. We reached 94, okay? And then it looked like we were recovering. And then boom, right back down to 94 again. And then it looked like we were recovering. Boom, right back down to 95, right? And now we're back up to 98. So, man, yesterday was a doozy, especially for those that were playing leverage, right? The whales were just hammering away at the longs. And that's what we call a proper shakeout, my friends. And why? Why did they do that? Well, let me explain. Let's move forward. Let me explain why that's being done. Today, let's see. Today, the U.S. market is opening up kind of mixed. Kind of mixed. We got a lot of news. Person who killed the United Healthcare CEO is arrested and charged with murder. Stellantis CEO is getting forced out. Okay. Microstrategy yesterday having a huge loss. Today is going up. I mean, right now it just seems like, Microstrategy could not be any hotter a few weeks ago. Now Wall Street seems to be like suppressing them, right? Like selling off them like crazy. Even though Saylor is buying more and more Bitcoin every single day, it seems like. More billions upon billions. His strategy works. And by the way, today is the day that Microsoft is voting on whether or not they're going to be buying Bitcoin, adding them to their balance sheet. I don't know actually when that's going to happen today, but it's going to happen today. But I don't know exactly. I mean, I talked about that yesterday. That would be an absolute game changer, obviously, if it happens today. But I don't know what time. I'm assuming sometime after market, but maybe it's during the day. I don't know. But that's a game changer. But anyways, what I do know is, MicroStrategy has been suppressed by Wall Street for the last few weeks. I don't know. People are getting jealous of MicroStrategy, jealous of Saylor because of how much Bitcoin he holds now. I don't know. There's something going on there. Or maybe just it's simple. It's profit taking because MicroStrategy, honestly, have been the hottest stock of this year, even surpassing NVIDIA's performance. Maybe that's it, right? But regardless, I'm going to continue to load up on MicroStrategy and Bitcoin basically forever because I know both of them will continue to go up. There's also this that's happening tomorrow, CPI inflation. So generally speaking, people are, Wall Street looks at these kind of things, but You know, we already know that the next rate cut is already baked in. You know, that's coming in about a week. 86% chance of another cut. That's always good. Whenever there's a cut, that actually, you know, jolts the market, right? Gives us a little more boost. So, yeah, I think that's going to be good. That's going to be good overall. And that's coming in about a little bit over a week, right? I mean, like this stuff like this can't hurt, right? After this next meeting, we'll have a full percentage point cut for this year alone, right? We had the fastest rate hike ever in US history. We're probably going to have the fastest cut in history too going forward, because honestly, the US economy isn't doing all that well. Despite the stock market doing well, it's not a true reflection of how the economy is. So next year, if you're looking at all these dates, January, March, May, June, July, it's very likely every single FOMC meeting, we're going to get at least a 25 basis point cut, right? So I don't see that actually stopping anytime soon. So that means in 2025, we may just see this keep on continuing. This is like what's called a liquidity injection, right? Even though it's not actually printing money and putting it back out there, but lowering the rate is essentially doing that. It allows the banks to borrow money at a much cheaper rate. And that's essentially how you get the money flowing, right? So it's good. It's going to be good. Well, that's coming up. And plus, of course, this. If the reading is good, obviously that's going to be good too. So we'll see. We'll see. But going back to the liquidation, yesterday was one of the worst shakeouts or resets we have seen in a long, long time. Since 2021. All right, we have $1.6 billion wiped out. 1.6 billion wiped out. That's a lot. That's a lot. I'll admit, I got caught in the first wave too. So that down to 94, man, that was a killer. That was a killer. But you know what? That's why you have to have dry powder on the side, right? So that you could get back in. You always have to make sure you have that dry powder on the side. But yeah, I mean, yesterday was just an unusual day. You know, it wasn't just that one spike. Like the market makers, the whales, whoever, they just kept going and going and going and going, right? It was like a true whole day shakeout day. It wasn't just a one event, right? And they did that on purpose. That was definitely intentional. And it started on Coinbase. People actually tracked it. It started with Coinbase traders, and they started this thing, and then it was just a liquidation cascading, and it was just cascading over and over and over and over and over and over again, right? It was definitely intentional, and it always happens whenever the market gets overheated, right? And obviously the market is overheated because we just broke through. Let's not forget, we just broke 100K and we went up. This was, you know, right when, you know, just a few days ago when I was attending the Heat game, when Bitcoin shot up to $104,000, right? So, yeah, so whenever the market gets a little bit too overheated, especially on the leverage side, this always happens. I mean, it happens both ways, but it always happens. You get this reset and then we move on, right? But whenever you have this happen, who benefits? Number one, the exchanges benefit because they collect all the fees. But two, when retail gets driven out, who buys? That's what you always got to think, right? When like the retail gets driven out, retail panic sells, right? Who comes in and swoops in, right? When the retail sets a sell order, who's on the other side placing the buy order? Well, that's pretty obvious at this point, right? This is what I've been showing you guys. The ETFs, they're always positive now. Like, you would figure that, you know, the last few days, the ETFs would have negative, they would have outflows, but that's not the case. The last few days have been inflows, even yesterday. Yesterday, BlackRock took in 400 million. Overall net inflow was close to 500 million. Despite yesterday being a pretty negative day for Bitcoin, you still have a positive 500 million inflow. How does that make sense? Well, think about it, right? Who's buying? Who's buying behind the scenes? Who's buying the OTC market, right? Whenever you have these big dips happen, who's buying? It's all these big boys. So maybe they're the ones that's causing this. Maybe they're the ones that are pulling the strings. If you think about it, whenever you don't know who's behind something, you just think about who's benefiting the most, right? That's usually the people that's behind it. So who's benefiting the most? Who's actually acquiring the most Bitcoin at this point, right? The ETFs are, BlackRock is for sure. I don't know about Sailor because Sailor always seems to buy at the top. So I don't know about Sailor, but man, these guys are just buying at an unstoppable rate at this point. So that's why I've been saying, any dip is our friend right now. Any dip is our friend, right? Bitcoin has proven that it can go beyond 100,000. We were just at 104,000. We have broken 100,000 several times within the last week, right? So it is not like fantasy land, okay? We have spoken about this 100K, this mysterious 100K for many, many years, and many people have doubted it. Even like Peter Schiff has come out and says, Bitcoin will never hit 100,000, ever. He's willing to bet whatever. That'll never hit 100,000, right? We have proven that wrong. Bitcoin can and has, right? And once we get past the shakeout, we'll break through. And by the end of this year, and we still have several weeks, we will get to a much higher point, right? But in the meantime, there will be volatility. There always is. And whenever there's dips, you gotta treat these opportunities as gifts because things are gonna get much, much more expensive. And again, how can anyone really be fearing Bitcoin at $98,000? The answer should be no one. So I don't know how else to put that, considering where we were just a few months ago, considering where we were at the beginning of the year, considering where we were last year. So it should be a non-question at this point. But, you know, just to reassure some people that are a little bit scared, sort of. But also, I guess this came out yesterday, and this caused a little fear about Google's quantum computing chip. Now, this has been asked forever, since 2017, since I started this channel in 2017. People have asked me about like, oh, what about quantum computers? What about one day when quantum computers can crack Bitcoin's, you know, SHA-256 code, right? What will happen then? Well, I mean, if quantum computers got that good, you know, it'll be used to crack like nuclear codes and banking codes and, you know, broker codes, and it could crack anything. Even though this is a monumental achievement for humanity, given the right task, this quantum computer chip can solve what the top supercomputer can't solve in 10 quadrillion years or something like that. It's a monumental achievement, right? But it can only solve things it's like a very specific thing. So basically, bottom line is it's nowhere near the power required to crack Bitcoin's encryption. We're nowhere near that, okay? and it's nowhere near the power to crack any kind of encryption at this point, right? And it doesn't mean that we can't create defenses to protect against quantum computing hacking either. And that's what David Marcus is actually asking, and Elon is agreeing in this thread, right? So there are people that's always thinking about that, and yeah, that could be a thing, but you know, as of right now, we're far, far, far away from that. And you know, truly, when we get to that point, there's actually I just watched a good Netflix film about this. It's about a quantum computer, AI. I forgot the name, but it's actually a really good. It's actually a really good film. You guys should watch it if you get time. All right, I'm losing my voice, as you guys could tell, as I'm talking, so I'm gonna try to quickly finish this here. Anyways, so it's not an issue as of right now, but it is a very monumental thing that we have created. This quantum computer chip that actually can error correct the more qubits it throws at it. So that's actually pretty cool. Anyways, Eric Trump predicts Bitcoin will hit $1 million, praises scarcity. Okay, we already knew that, but that's good. Riot Platforms and Mara both are following Saylor's footsteps now. They're both miners, and they just keep on offering notes now for billions and buying more Bitcoin, right? Despite keeping everything they're mining, they're buying more Bitcoins now. So, I mean, again, the scarcity factor is real. Any dip is our friend. Dips are gifts. That's all you have to know. Dips, friends. Dips, gifts. That's it. Really that simple. Vancouver proposes Bitcoin adoption to fight inflation. That's awesome. I also saw a headline saying Russia is proposing to make a strategic reserve for Bitcoin too, following the US footsteps. This is something that I've already talked about. Everyone wants a piece, right? Everyone wants a piece. So we still have this to go. We still have this to go. Anyone that's worried about right now, okay, you're not going to remember it. When we break through 100, when we break through 110, when we break through 150, when we break through 200, you're not going to remember the shakeout day anymore. We're going to have a lot more days. We always will, but we're just going to keep on doing this, guys. All right? The fundamentals of Bitcoin continues to get better. The supply shock continues to increase, and adoption continues to get more and more. It's that simple. It's that simple. All right. So outside of Bitcoin, what else is there? Meme coins are not doing well. Yeah, whenever there's like any little kind of weakness, right now meme coins are not doing well because mostly it's just retail. Retails have the weakest hand. So whenever there's any kind of weakness, of course, what does retail do? Retail dumps, right? Retails go dump what first? Meme coins first. So that's no surprise. Floki releases some kind of no-fee crypto debit card. I doubt anyone's going to ever use that. And then Jupiter is approving another huge 860 million airdrop. That's pretty cool. A lot of people made a lot of money from the very first Jupiter airdrop. So maybe a lot of people are going to make a lot of money from the second airdrop. Or this might be this third airdrop. No, I think it's the second airdrop. Yeah, we'll see. All right. Bitcoin's coming up, 98.2. That's pretty good. Everything else is in the green right now. So we're moving in the right direction. And that's because I'm back in streaming. Microstrategy is also moving in the right direction. Yeah. All right. I don't know how much I could do of Q&A. I'm like, honestly, I'm like cold sweating right now. So I'm going to just like talk for like 5 minutes and get off of here. Man, I am not doing well. I am not doing well. You know what I heard recently, and this is so true? Everyone, everyone has a million problems until they get sick, and then they only have one problem. And that is so true. That shows you how important health is. Um, Freedom, LimeWire, can it go 100? Sure, but I'm not sure it will. Chris Cunningham, 8:30 Pacific for shareholders meeting. Great, good to know. Gary Lee, you seem to be getting sick quite a bit. No, that's not true. I never get sick. I haven't gotten sick for years. Ivan, do you think Sui is a Solana this cycle? Um, I don't. No, I think it done really well and continue, but I don't think it's a Solana this cycle. Um, any thoughts on Say? No, not really. See, this is a golden time right now, right? Those of you guys that love XRP, golden time to be DCA XRP, considering that it was 290, now it's at 220. Algorand, it was at 61 cents, it's at 41 cents. Hedera was at 39 cents, now it's at 28 cents. Stellar, man, Stellar was crazy. 64 cents at 40 cents. Cardano was at 130 and now it's at $1. Man, these alts are like 30% off from their previous high. Pretty good. Pretty good DCA opportunity. Did you get into Supra? No. I don't even know what that is. Both Microstrategy and Coinbase took absolutely beating yesterday. Did you see the Sailor Dave Portnoy? I saw parts of it. I saw clips of it. I didn't see the whole thing, but that's pretty cool. Sailor looked kind of out of place sitting next to him. Like Portnoy is definitely not like his type of interviewer, but it's pretty cool that Sailor did it. You know, Sailor's like way, Portnoy is like way below him, but like he recognizes the type of attention he gets. So that's pretty cool though. Bosqueak. Any thoughts on Constellation? You know what? They're ISO compliant, which is good. They're working with the U.S. Air Force, so they're U.S. based, but they're not on Coinbase. So they could do well, but they're like more like a layer 0, and they are a DAG. I don't hear much of anything else going on. They were supposed to go to Constellation 2. I don't know if they ever did that. So they have potential. I remember I brought them up very early, mostly because of the U.S. Air Force connection. They were like archiving for the U.S. Air Force, and that takes a lot of trust. Deputy Dog, I don't know about that. Maybe you should. Maybe you shouldn't. I think you have to make that determination. Yeah, like right now, whenever there's like memes right now, whenever there's like any little kind of weakness, memes get sold off hard. So there's definitely like no confidence in the meme sector right now. So again, this is why Bitcoin is still the big daddy. The dominance of Bitcoin still. This is why you need to have a good amount of Bitcoin in your portfolio, that 50% that I've always said, 50, 25, 25. It helps. It helps during turbulence. It helps during growth times. It gives you that stability, right? All right, I'm gonna jump off because I'm like kind of dying here. All right, stay strong, my friends. Yesterday's shakeout was definitely a shakeout. It was a shakeout day. It wasn't just a shakeout moment. It was a shakeout day. But you know what? We always go through these times. Just think about who benefits the most from these shakeout days. Of course, it's those that want to accumulate the most. The big boys, the institutions, they want your Bitcoin. So don't fall for it. All right? Stay strong, stay focused, and hopefully I'll see you guys tonight, 8:30 p.m. Central Standard Time. All right? Have a good one. Take care.